Assalamu alaikum. So today I'm going to be talking about lessons for Muslims from the Millionaire Next Door book. Now this is a great book, and I've listened to the audio book version of this and kind of like did it on my double speed and kind of really went through the book really quickly. And in this book they talk about research that they did into millionaires. It's a really popular book, and for some reason I've only got around to listening to it recently, and it just kind of talks about how an average millionaire is not what most people think they are. I mean, most people think of millionaires as people that are really flashy, spend a lot of money, but what's surprising about this is that your average millionaire, like, you just wouldn't recognize them. They just look normal, look like you and me. And that was really kind of exciting for me to hear that, and really like, wow, okay, like really eye-opening. And there's definitely lots of lessons in here that we as Muslims can definitely take into our halal investing kind of journey. So just want to say hello, welcome to Simple Muslim Money, which is all about simple halal investing and personal finance for Muslims. Just want to put a quick disclaimer out there. This is not financial advice, and it's just my own personal opinion for information and entertainment purposes. Okay, so let's get into it. So now the first lesson is that what I mentioned earlier is that you will not know that the average millionaire is wealthy. Like, you wouldn't know just by looking at them, looking at their house, looking at their car. They just kind of look like us. And what they value most is just kind of saving for the long term and just being really sort of careful with their money. And just because you look rich doesn't mean that you are actually rich. Just because you have a really flashy car or flashy house doesn't actually mean that you're rich or a millionaire or what have you. And again, this kind of leads on to the next lesson is like, they don't spend money to look the part. Like, a lot of people end up in debt. They buy flashy cars, or they buy a big house, or, do redecorating on their house and things like that. And in the book, what's really interesting was that a lot of these millionaires, like, they just buy regular clothes. They're not buying a rich Prada, Gucci, LV, all of that sort of stuff. They're buying like, I think it's based in America. So there's like a store called JCPenney. So they sell suits, and we just buy most of the suits from there, not like these tailor-made kind of really fancy suits that you get from, I don't know, in London, like in Savile Row. And so that was really interesting. They're not eating like crazy food. Like, you don't expect them to be eating caviar and champagne and things like that every day. They're just eating your kind of regular food, and they're not showing off. And what was really interesting was talk about these doctors that earn like 700,000-800,000 per year, and they've just got crazy expenses. And if they were to lose their jobs, then, it would be a massive catastrophe in terms of their mortgage payments, their house, just all the other expenses that they're paying for. And that kind of leads us on to the next lesson, which is that, these millionaires value financial independence. So, they're thinking about the long term, they're thinking about retirement, they're thinking about emergencies and managing things like that, rather than spending money on flashy things. And the media makes you think that, hey, you need to spend money on cars, this, clothes, you need to do this, you need to look that. But that is definitely like not the case at all. And another valuable lesson, and this is really valuable, I kind of more picked up more recently more than ever, which is to spend time and money on their finances. That's what these millionaires do. They have a regular schedule. They look at their budgets. They look at how much spending, how much they've got coming in, how much they're investing for the long term, for their retirement. This is something that they do regularly, and they, try and keep on top of it. Doesn't mean they're spending hours and hours on it, but it's more just kind of that frequently, just kind of keeping an eye on it. And once it's set up, it's all kind of just kind of automated and can happen. Another thing is they spend a lot of money on financial like advice or products and things like that. So that could potentially be accountants, tax advisors and things like that. They really value spending their money in that. That's kind of really made me think, I need to do that as well. I need to make sure that, I'm buying the right products, the right books, like doing research, spending time, and all of this sort of stuff is like super important. Then the next lesson comes on to is being frugal. So being careful about kind of everyday money and, not spending it just mindlessly, which is something that, I like to talk about, just mindless spending when you're just about, in the shopping centre now at the moment, like in the UK, you get bubble tea everywhere, bubble tea like £5-6, and you're just kind of just buying it just because you're just there. That £5-6, you could kind of sort of put away. Now, if you love bubble tea, fantastic. Like my son, like 12-year-old son, he loves bubble tea. So, okay, fair enough. Once in a while, you get it for him. Although, sometimes you have to kind of overlook the amount of sugar and stuff that is in there. But yeah, fair enough. You buy it because, you really want it. You've kind of been intentional about it rather than just buying this, oh yeah, this bubble tea, let me just buy bubble tea. Or, there's like this milkshake thing or these waffles and stuff like that. And, I'm talking about food here, but it could just be in general, like just about clothes and things like that. Oh, let me just buy that or buy this. So they're kind of, really kind of frugal and aware of where their money's going. And yeah, just kind of being careful about this mindless spending. Spend things that you really want to spend money on, but cut back on things that you don't want to spend money on. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is they own a reasonable car. So the most popular car for these people were like Toyotas. And yeah, I just want to quickly talk about, there was a video from Tai Kim, Financial Talk. It's a really good channel. I've kind of got a link to that in the description. It kind of really inspired me for this video as well. Definitely check that out as well. And yeah, the most popular car is a Toyota. It's very reliable. They usually get a used one, it could be 3-4 years old. So, that's really fantastic. And a car is a great way to, save money. And it's not an indicator of how rich you are, because a lot of people that do have really nice cars actually have them in debt. They haven't paid for them. And these millionaires, they like to sort of pay their car out because it works out cheaper in the long term that way. And also I remember something Elon Musk was saying about, he was talking about Tesla. Like Tesla haven't got the luxury of having a fleet out there already that people own, because once you have a fleet out there already that people own, then these people are paying for maintenance, servicing, all of these sort of costs, which can then kind of be fed into the company. So, once you do own a BMW or whatever, like, I used to own a BMW a while ago. I had so many problems with it, like oil leaks, and every time you need to get it serviced or fixed, problems with fuel injectors. It was just like a money pit. I was just spending so much money on it. And yeah, it just made me realize, I'm not getting one of those anymore. I'm just going to get a reliable car. At the moment, we've got like a Lexus, which was a used Lexus, a good 4 years old. So yeah, and it's been like really good. We've kind of really appreciated that car. The next lesson I want to talk about is not paying too much on their home. So like, that's really important. Like, you don't want to get a massive mortgage, especially as Muslims as well. We want to kind of avoid interest. You want to have such massive payments you have to do every month for a big home that you don't really need all that space. So getting a home that's just right and just kind of living well below your means will be massive. So, alhamdulillah, I've been very fortunate to be able to do that. And, you don't want to have so much money that you want to be going out, and also just the cleaning, the maintenance, all of that sort of stuff gets reduced if you do have that smaller home. And then I want to talk about their occupation as well. They have like jobs in like industries that might not seem that flashy, like might be like engineering, finance, or like, in some sort of manufacturing, food or things like that. But, sometimes people might think those are boring, but, those are the sort of industries they're in that kind of make money. So yeah, very kind of interesting to see that as well. You don't need to be in some really cool kind of fancy thing and think, oh yeah, that's the way to kind of make money. And also another thing is that many millionaires kind of own their own businesses. So, but not all of them. But, just because you have your own business doesn't mean that you're going to be a millionaire. But yeah, that is just another thing to be aware of. So it just kind of made me think about doing my side business and things like that. So just to kind of really accelerate some income that I kind of invest in. And also he talks about marrying well as well. So, you want to try and marry someone that has the same money sort of goals as you as well. Like, if you're saving lots of money, but then your partner is kind of spending a lot of money, and then, there's a bit of a mismatch there. So it's very important to kind of talk and try and come to some sort of agreement and some sort of goal there. I'm really lucky with my wife. She's kind of really got on board with all of this, and she's been really good in terms of how much money and things that we are spending as well. But she's kind of learned that. She wasn't like always like that. When she was younger, she used to spend money on clothes and things like that, as they do. So yeah, and then now she's kind of like understanding the benefits of thinking about retirement and saving for the long term. And the next one is just to know when is enough. Like, you could be working forever and ever and you're trying to earn more money. But, your faith, so, our religion, health, family, all of those things are so important. And it's about spending time on those as well. So yeah, just want to say thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then please smash that like button, as it really helps the algorithm. Assalamu alaikum.